Rogue Lineage is one of the most influential games on all of Roblox, inspiring tons of roguelike style Roblox games. Deepwoken is the predecessor to Rogue Lineage by Monad Studios, and at face value, Deepwoken outperformed Rogue Lineage entirely, earning the developers more money, having more concurrent players at release and peak, and having significantly more content than Rogue Lineage. However, the statistics of these two games infer that Rogue Lineage had potential to be more successful than Deepwoken ever was, and still is, and I will be going over those statistics in this video. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe, because only about 20% of the people watching this video right now are actually subscribed. And a quick word from today's sponsor. And today's video is sponsored by Factor. Factor is a food delivery service which will deliver food directly to your door. There's no prep on your end because Factor does it all for you, and there's no mess for you to deal with afterwards. Factor also makes it super easy for you to meet your nutritional goals, which is what I like the most about it. As a gym guy, meeting my daily nutritional goals and macronutrient goals is very important, and Factor can make that super easy because they have tons of options that can be tailored specifically to you in order to help you meet those goals. Factor can also fit your dietary restrictions and your lifestyle very easily, with tons of options for diets like keto, vegan, and high protein. With over 25 meals per week, you can easily get what you need through Factor. And for all of you gamers watching this who don't know how to cook, Factor is perfect for you, because now you don't need to cook. Use my link or go to go.factor75.com and use the code FACTORSE43537 for 40% off, plus 20% off your next month. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. So let's see that number go up, and back to the video. According to Rollymon's Roblox game statistics, Deepwoken has an average playtime of about 12 minutes. However, Rogue Lineage has an average playtime of nearly 20 minutes. Now this is an 8-minute difference. To a lot of you this might not seem like a lot because 8 minutes isn't usually seen as a lot of time on its own. However, retention statistics are very different from actual time, and every second counts as it's based on the total playtime of everyone who has touched the game ever, from people who played for hours a day to people who sit on the menu for 5 seconds, leave, and never touch the game again. And it is important to clarify that Rogue Lineage is actually above average in playtime over all of Roblox. Meanwhile, Deepwoken is sitting near the bottom of average, with its peak being about 15 minutes, which was around game release, which is very slightly above average, with the average being about 14 minutes and 22 seconds. According to retention statistics, you guys have ADHD and need to watch my videos for longer. However, according to Roblox retention statistics on these two games, Rogue Lineage seemed to captivate players for longer than Deepwoken. But why is this? On the surface, Deepwoken has slightly better animations, better particle and visual effects, better modeling, better world building, and better solo play. However, I think the reason for this may be because Rogue Lineage was a much more closed-off game with a smaller, more passionate community than Deepwoken. Those who played Rogue Lineage were much more invested in the game, because in order to have even known about Rogue Lineage and what to do in the game, you had to have connections to better players in the early stages of its lifespan. This needed community connection could have resulted in rogue players motivating each other to continue to play the game more often, resulting in this higher retention statistic. And speaking of these retention statistics, Deepwoken's all-time low retention was 6 minutes per player, and this actually happened around the time that Chime of Conflict was added, which potentially a, coincidence? Maybe not. However, this 6 minute per player average is less than half of average Roblox games. Luckily, it didn't last that long, as it only lasted about a week. While Rogue Lineage's all-time low was 10 minutes, which is still only about 3 to 4 minutes below average, and even then it's seen as the lower side of average. I also believe Deepwoken's retention was lowered by the fact that it was more popular, with more people playing it, especially due to YouTuber interactions such as Tankfish, iShowSpeed, Pyrocynical, and Flamingo. Many, dumb kids are likely to try out Deepwoken because of their favorite YouTubers playing it. And it's likely a lot of these dumb kids quit the game when they had no idea what to do, lowering the retention statistic of Deepwoken. Now, a lot of you may be saying that this is also possible to have happened to Rogue Lineage because the biggest Roblox YouTuber, or one of the biggest, Flamingo, actually played that game too. However, I see it as Deepwoken was more mainstream and popular anyway, so people were more likely to try it out, especially because it looks more polished than Rogue Lineage. Also, noticeably, but Rogue Lineage's concurrent player count peaked at about 9,000 players in December to January of the original update Ultimate release. On the other hand, Deepwoken's player count peaked at nearly 70,000 on the day of release, showing it had a ton of hype in comparison to Rogue Lineage. And now, a lot of you at this point might be looking at the statistics I've shown so far, and still might think that Deepwoken will have more long-term players in Rogue Lineage by number rather than percentage. However, looking at the Roblox Achievements award system, we can see that in Deepwoken, 143,000 Roblox accounts have gotten the full power badge in Roblox. However, in Rogue Lineage, 287,000 Roblox accounts have gotten Ultra classes, signifying that nearly double the amount of Rogue Lineage players have played long term. The numbers for max power in Deepwoken are more comparable to the amount of people who reached Uber class in Rogue Lineage. However, these numbers may be inflated by the amount of black marketing which occurred in Rogue Lineage, potentially causing a huge influx of Ultras and Ubers, which could vastly outnumber the amount of actual players who play the game. This is further supported by the fact that, unlike Deepwoken, Rogue Lineage doesn't actually have slots, so every build you make has to be on a different account, versus Deepwoken where you can have up to 26 builds on one account. This is especially interesting seeing how statistically only about half of all players who went to K got an Uber class, probably because K is the worst thing to have graced Rogue Lineage ever. Deepwoken is actually shown to be quite volatile in its statistics, especially when compared to Rogue Lineage. This is due to a lot of reasons, but essentially I believe that the popularity of Deepwoken has actually watered down many of its vital statistics, because many people played Deepwoken and got lost without accomplishing anything before they proceeded to drop the game. If you have any more explanation as to what you think is occurring in these statistics, leave a comment down below, and I promise you I'll read it. Also worth mentioning, but in Deepwoken, the Chime of Conflict 1v1 Roblox place has about 85% of the Eastern Luminance place visits. This suggests that about 85% of people who play the Deepwoken long enough to reach the Eastern Luminant actually play or have played Chime. Meanwhile, only about 11% of the total game's players have actually played in Chime, suggesting that only around 7 to 10% of Deepwoken players play actively because Chime is the most popular part of the game as of now for PvP. And this is only taking into account Roblox place visits, which can be registered multiple times for the same account. And another funny statistic, but Deepwoken has 8,000 more dislikes than Rogue Lineage, proving that the game is worse, so you guys can't disagree with my video, or else I'm gonna send my fully armed militia of 20 men and 16 women armed with AR-15 assault rifles, fully chamber-loaded with split-headed armor-piercing rounds, to break down your door and murder you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see me comparing more things or making other videos or something, give me an idea in the comment section down below. I read all the comments, you guys know this. I might respond with all of them with like some random bullshit like for real or true, but that's only because there's so many that I kind of want to respond to them all as soon as possible. Regardless, leave a comment, buy a YouTube membership, it's only like $5, and give me some ideas in the comments. Hope you have a good day, and goodbye. I love you all.